Hi, good afternoon, Rashmi.
Good afternoon, Mr. Sridhar. How are you?
Good, good, Rashmi. It's good to catch you after many years, and it's absolute pleasure today to have a chat with you and discuss these amazing opportunities that we're going to see in the next few years in the healthcare market research industry. And today I want to spend about 5 to 10 minutes explain to our young viewers what these opportunities are, and how to grab them with both hands and how to make a career out of this industry as a long-term, in this business. So just to introduce you to myself, folks, I'm Sridhar. I have about 25 years in the market research industry, and I've ran pharmaceutical market research and healthcare. I also had a journey in KPO and business intelligence, and currently I'm also working in the AI/ML space. And before I start, I'd also like to explain what this chat is all about. When you Google or when you search on Naukri.com, just put research as a keyword and search. You would see that there are about 55,000 jobs that are available in the research area. And if you actually drill it down to saying research analyst, there are about 13 to 15,000 jobs, which is equivalent to about 20% of the total research jobs available. So this is a great opportunity for young people who are just graduating out of pharma colleges, MBAs, to really take this up as a career. Now, what today the objective is to try and glean insights on how to approach this opportunity with our esteemed guest, Rashmi Pant, who has been in the industry for nearly 20 years and has seen both the corporate side of it as well as her own consulting in the research industry. And so welcome, Rashmi, to the chat.
So thank you, Sridhar.
So a bit of introduction, Rashmi, before we begin about yours.
Thank you, Sridhar, for inviting me on this platform, and very kind of you to recognize my efforts in this direction. I have been with the pharma and clinical research industry for nearly 20 years in the core part of my career. Most of it has been involved in secondary desk research and market intelligence. And I have been in my consulting space in market research since 2015. So that's about it.
Fantastic, Rashmi. So what you really now, been in the industry and been there, done that, and it's been across so many years. What do you think is really now the challenges that most pharmaceutical companies or companies in the healthcare space are really facing? And if you can just give us a size of the opportunity here in terms of what are the problems that we try to solve as researchers.
Very right, you are, Sridhar. You hit a very valid point. Traditionally, pharmaceutical industry has been subscribing to, fixed database softwares and having analysis reports getting done from their local staff within the company. They're also looking at their internal MIS and comparing and projecting forecasts, but they've never been able to identify the root cause of any problem or look at newer opportunities per se. Even the sample sizes that have been given by the traditional softwares are fixed. They haven't changed much. Considering the way the global market is changing, even in India, which is now somewhat migrating into a global village, please correct me if I'm wrong. The current data sets I believe, are no more showing the real-time validity which is required for the industry to take the next step forward. So even if you look at a simple vaccine market, the data which is mentioned in the current softwares is not sufficient. Now, that's where the secondary desk research role pitches in, where if we collect the data from freely available sources from vaccines and customize them based on a research problem for a pharmaceutical industry, say for even a scientific research or a marketing research, the identification of the problem becomes more serious and gives us a better opportunity and, get a wider perspective of the market rather than relying purely on the existing softwares. This is what I think.
Absolutely, Rashmi. I think you got a point there in terms of saying that. So what folks Rashmi is saying is that we have an opportunity to be part of the global fight against the COVID by being part of a research analyst role, and you dig up data, dig up research insights from a huge set of publications. So how does this really work, Rashmi? Can you take us through a day's life, of a researcher in a company or a research lab or or a clinical research that they do?
Yes. So what happens is, if I was to find out a very serious research problem, and an analyst says that is faced with a problem that his current data set related to his RNA and DNA is not sufficient. So he goes to sites like PubMed and scientific publications, and he looks for certain keywords which are related to the molecule or the drug or the metabolism. And when he picks those keywords, he finds a lot of information, a lot of data. So once you collect that data, put it up in a structured way, put it up in an Excel sheet, and he presents it, and then he realizes that where the gap is and what he has been missing in the current scenario. No doubt this is a time-consuming effort where the switch of the right words makes a lot of difference, and he may spend a day, he may spend weeks. That will depend on the the nature of the problem. If the organization goal or the research goal is of a very qualitative perspective, then probably a 45-minute research should be sufficient to arrive at the problem. He may not whole day looking at the the entire perspective. Sometimes it just happens that the secondary desk research proves out to be more useful than the existing software that he's using. And considering the cost restraints that companies are having, they believe that internet being the most useful, freely available tool is still not being utilized for the most optimum extent that it should be, particularly for market research.
That's a really interesting point. So you're really saying that tools to be used by a secondary researcher are not rocket science, as you say. And so can you explain about some of the tools that you've been using in your, in your own, in the project?
As far as secondary desk research, yes, of course. As far as the tool part is concerned, since researching for 20 years, I mean, I cannot keep hunting for the same site with the same keywords all over again. So the best is to create a bookmark or a dictionary. Mm-hmm. So I have in my consulting experience, more than 400 bookmarks, which are relevant ones, with immediate reference where I can go back and refer them immediately. I need not hunt the same ones again and again so as to save. And I also keep a collective dictionary of about 1,000 words, maybe more. And with the same synonyms of words going here and there. Supposing I use 2 words, sometimes I use 3 words. And using a, an, and then vowels and vocabularies should be avoided because they disturb the search. The precise usage of words, switching of words is very important in this kind of a portfolio. And once you have that knack, it comes to practice. You do it for a week, you get it. And the first search may be very frustrating for a fresher. Yes, but one should not get frustrated. He'll get up all with it. He says, I'm getting all the paid information. So one should not look at, even in the paid information, there's a few set of information which he needs to look. Even if the paid information is there is some amount of volume of words which work, which he may pick up and use for the next search. So constant revision of words in search and development of bookmarks is the only which can take you to success. You have to keep on it in pages and words and your Google marks. And you have to keep on updating the bookmarks because sometimes what happens is market is consolidating. Some agencies like CenterWatch has been taken over by WCG. So all the links were working for CenterWatch and clinical trials are no more working. So I have to go back and WCG links. So updation of bookmarks also in your dictionary is very important. So only to keep upgrading yourself with what's happening in the market. A lot of reading, and the simplest one more single tool which you mentioned is a Google Alert.
Right.
And see what you get. I know there's a lot of junk which comes in the Google Alerts. So keep editing the alerts, delete the alerts, pick up the words relevant to your sector, pick up the words which are alternate. The switching and constant upgradation of words and tools in your dictionary is the only key to success in secondary desk research. This is what I feel.
Fantastic.
I leave it to your.
Yeah. So I think this is a great tip, not only for freshers who are coming in, but also very associates or analysts and researchers who have already been in the industry for so long. So really coming to prerequisites in terms of what do you think, how does a researcher become, how did you become a researcher?
Yeah, that's happened actually by chance. And I was very lucky. One of the very lucky fews in big organizations. And I've been through those routine data softwares which are given to me by your esteemed organization, ORG, and we're very happy churning out data. And one fine day, churning reports was becoming a routine part of life. It's like eating and drinking, everything the same thing. So wake up and start in the morning. The day starts at 9. You have a host of 20 queries in your email, you sort them out. And by the time you finish half of them, you find it's lunch. You take a lunch, come back and you find the next set of queries coming from the supervisor telling me prioritize mine. Right. Okay, fine. You're satisfied that you completed all the data tasks, collated it in the right way, gave it with the right information set, and gave it to the right person with no mistakes. Because sometimes even mistakes happen in copy pasting from software. So those mistakes were avoided. Everything taken care. And winding off one day, and about 5:45 or almost 6 o'clock, and the day is over in Torrance, Parma. There's a phone call at my landline with a long ring. And I've been wondering who's calling me at this hour when I have a mobile phone. Those mobiles were expensive. And so everybody used to use landlines. And there was a call from the reception. I still remember it was Reena Bhattacharya in Torrent. And she said, Reena, Rashmi, there's a call for you from the Research Center of Torrent. I said, why? She says, I don't know. Dr. Chaitanya Dutt wants to speak to you. I said, please put him online right away. And I was shivering, trembling, and I was wondering, I was such a small-time entity in a company of 5,000 people, a research center R&D head asking me for some information. It was an honor, a pleasure, a surprise, and worry that if I make a mistake, what will happen? Calls me up, give me a data within 1 hour, I have a meeting tomorrow. And I don't want anything from your softwares. All that junk I don't want. I'm like shocked. I was just wondering, we're paying 50 lakh for a package and this man calls my software junk. I used to feel offended. So anyway, never mind. So I said, okay, I'll try doing it. So no, try. I want it in 1 hour. Tell me what you can give me. So that's where I started Googling and finding out what words precisely, collating the data and information. I tell you, it was a very big success, but I did it. And when I did it, he called me after 1 hour saying, I was there in the office. He's saying, tell me how you did it and explain it to my team. I said, but sir, this is not good. Whatever it is, please explain this to how you did it. And that's how the journey began. And that's how the learning part.
Fantastic.
So I really done it by default. No one taught me anything.
Fantastic. Fantastic. I think it's a great learning here in terms of being there. And obviously you had the opportunity in terms of being a researcher yourself. It automatically, it was the next adjacent business that you got into. Now, coming to, in terms of for the young people who are going to watch us, what is it that the opportunities that exist in the market today, and how do you think, what could be their career path for them?
To be honest with you, Sridhar, I like to augment and reinforce what you started when in the beginning of this interview, that 20% of the jobs in the analyst domain are in market research. Right. And that's a huge number. Now, the people, moment they see market research, they try to faint away thinking, don't know what to do in this. What kind of skills they need. They try to shy away because they don't know how to collect the data. But the opportunity is so fundamental, where the starting role in the industry is of an analyst or a senior analyst if you have a good MBA degree from a good college. Second role is research executive, which is a starting point in all pharma industry with nothing less than a package of 5 lakhs today, which an hour is less than 2 lakhs.
Right, absolutely, absolutely.
We started with very low terms, but today the market research executive earns very well for an entry level, an executive job. Person learns how to search, and sometimes if the person has got extra skills in some more pharmacy qualifications, advanced ones, he may even get a manager. Small companies, they hire at good levels, so there is no doubt. And data analysts in almost any segment of pharma and allied sectors, name them and they're there.
Fantastic, fantastic. So do people need training to get into this? I mean, is there something, I mean, you've been part of the training business as well. What kind of training, at least some kind of a course that they would like to take, and what's the kind of, how do they polish themselves up for this and prepare for this opportunity?
Now, when they want to get in the industry, they say how to do it. How to do it is their first major question. So for them, we have some very basic, data courses which you can run for them for about a day. A day would mean about 5 to 6 hours, or maybe 1.5 days if they want to practice. And we can tell them a search word with 2 words. We can tell them 3 words, search word with 4 words, and how the redundancy of information goes on once there is a 5 word and more. And what comes out in 2 word, what comes out in 3 word, what comes out in 4 word. They should have a comparison on 4 pages. Able to compare, they will realize which data gave them the precise search based on their objective. So that can be done on a first preliminary short level. And once they have the data collection, that would be enough for them to understand what is research. So that industry readiness for them will come from this. The second curiosity level, which will come from then, what do I do with this? I've got something. I think it's trying to say something. That automatic curiosity will come up. So there we take the advanced level where in a 5 or 6 day, where they ask them that you collected about 45 links. Can you please collect which are those 45 websites? Tell us what all you can collect from those websites.
Right.
So the right variables from those websites into the maximum number of variables they can collect. There may be duplication. Now the challenge is start inferring, which we have to stop. It should be raw data. Raw means inference right out there as a variable. Inference is never a variable. It's actually the data. The color of the website also is a variable. For them, some freshers, they get shocked. I said, but tell them color of the website makes a lot of impression. It gives an academic or a professional website. You get it from, it's an IT website. There are various business sectors function. So you have to know what you check out their services. Services is the key to identifying the core of your data. So once you have the right choice of variables from the 45 websites, you collect them in an Excel sheet, you find you arrived at nothing. You believe that you need to increase your sample size. That's where the advanced level of the course will come. And then when you have 90 links, then you scale them up, put a Likert scale and put them scale 1 to 10. Then you analyze the data. And that will be the advanced pivot. Then you do charting, report writing. Then you can convert it into a white paper for your company. You can do market communications, which I did at the last end of my career. And I teach people how to do it, wrote blogs for my clinical research organization. The beginning of my to do it because I went to the UK for some basic thing, but they never taught me the tricks. The tricks I had to learn once I got into the job. So I was fascinated by doing all this. So it is more of a passion which driven me here. I had an extra passion. But that it gets to be developed over a period of time. Because some people get frustrated collecting variables. They say it's not making sense, but they don't know what a number they're collecting is making sense. Sometimes is when there's no data available in the variable, they don't collect that data at all. So how miss important data, how not data can be a part of the advanced level theorem. So these are some of the pictures.
Absolutely. I think folks who are watching us, essentially, fundamentally, secondary research becomes the primary start when you really start a research project, whether it is a market research, competitive intelligence, and even when you want to write a blog, you really need to have to go in deeper and understand what the where the sources of data are. What are the data sources talking to you about? What is the kind of the theme that you're going to go after, and how does this data support it? Many times I've seen, Rashmi, is that secondary research has actually helped to save the total cost of market research, because most of the answers, most of the questions are answered by secondary research itself, and more so, in areas like clinical trials and in core-based research, R&D research, where you really need to supplement your clinical trials with supporting evidence. I think the role of the research analyst becomes very critical.
Very critical.
Yeah. So with that, I would like to bring it to an end, as this we would like to keep this very short and to give you just a flavor of what secondary research is and connect you to a leader in the industry. But the idea is to take this forward. I'm sure Rashmi is available to take on mentoring and mentor you people to take up this the path to secondary research and becoming a good research analyst and to becoming a good researcher later on. Most of the links I would share below this video in the YouTube channel as well as LinkedIn. Please feel free to reach out to Rashmi and learn more from her in terms of how to set up a path and really take this opportunity of so many jobs available in the industry and rather than really running around looking for jobs, the idea is to take a few short courses in secondary research, become a research analyst, and it's a very well-paying job. As Rashmi said, starting salary is about 5 lakhs. So if you're an MBA, a B.Pharm or an MSc in life sciences, I think this is a good career path for you to look at, right, Rashmi?
Absolutely correct. Very well said, Sridhar. An excellent way of putting the things, and we have proof on the internet to says whatever we've just said.
Absolutely.
And
thank you so much. Yeah, absolutely. And anything you would like to add, Rashmi, before we close the call?
Before I close, feel free to write to me or Sridhar. First of all, I'd like to thank Sridhar for inviting me on this platform once again and giving me
My
the
pleasure.
explain myself. Thank you. And I'm available at my email, pant.rashmi1971@gmail.com.
Yeah, I'll
Please
put
feel
that across. Yeah.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.